Malapit na namang matapos ang NBA regular season at magsisimula na naman ang awards ng season sa dulo ng liga. And barring any late season disaster, mukha nang makukuha na naman ni Steph Curry ang kanyang ikalawang sunod na MVP trophy.
Ang tanong na lang ngayon, sino ang makakasama ni Steph Curry sa NBA All-First Team? For that discussion, kasama natin ang basketball blogger na si Adrian Dy.
Hi guys.
Adrian, welcome back to The Score.
Thanks for having me.
Very interesting discussion ito. And sa ganda ng mga nilalaro ng mga players sa NBA ngayon, yun nga, I'm sure Steph Curry probably a shoe-in sa NBA First Team. Pero before we go into kung sino-sino yung nasa NBA First Team, paano ba nakukuha yung All-NBA teams from 1 to 3?
So right now, it's isa siyang panel of sports writers, TV broadcasters, radio people. Basically, yung ginagawa nila, they all log into a site and then they input for the 2 guards, 2 forwards, and a center 3 times. So may tatlong All-NBA teams.
Okay.
Then after that, they're all compiled. Whoever gets the most votes fall into their respective votes. Interesting lang siguro is, starting last season with Commissioner Adam Silver, ginawa niyang public yung mga results. So ngayon, if somebody doesn't make Curry unanimous selection, alam natin kung sino yung taong yun.
Pero so, hindi siya purely statistical, no?
No, it's very subjective. So up to the writer or the broadcaster. So usually ginagawa nila so after they file their votes, gumagawa sila ng column to explain out. Ito yung dahilan kung ba't ko itong pinili yung mga players.
May chance ba na merong writer dyan na hindi sasama si Curry, or would you say he's a lock to be a part of the Mythical Five and of course win his second straight MVP award?
Yung interesting doon kasi minsan may mga writers na magko-kontra lang for the sake of being, to the contrary side. Yeah, diba? Just to be different from the other people. So for me, I think he's a lock to make it to the MVP, to be in the All-NBA First Team. Pero is he gonna be a unanimous choice? Yun yung hindi natin alam. I think for me, it's very clear na he should be a unanimous selection. Pero you never know with these guys.
All-NBA First Team last season was Curry, LeBron,
James Harden, Anthony Davis, and Marc Gasol.
I think si Marc Gasol, yung one of his first-time selection.
If I'm not mistaken, yes.
Ngayon, para sa'yo, Adrian, personally, what would your criteria be in choosing your All-NBA First Team?
Oh, it's usually has a player done something historically significant, and that obviously answers the Stephen Curry situation. But then, is a person was he able to play a lot of games? Number one, obviously, because I don't particularly prefer the players na injure pero iboboto pa rin. Is the team a winning team? For me, that's important.
Yes.
Is the team in the playoffs? That's another one. And then I look at his stats based on his position. Kasi if you're comparing forwards, sino yung best na we feel na is the best forward in the spot? That's something I want to answer.
All right, let's talk about the center position because we have 3 main guys here na feeling namin ni Marco, dapat sila yung front runners. Andre Drummond, DeMarcus Cousins, and Anthony Davis. Now, both Davis and Cousins have great stats, way better stats than Andre Drummond in terms of points, kasi number 1 sa rebounding si Drummond. But number 9 ang Pistons ngayon sa East at sobrang bagsak naman, 11 and 12 ang position ng Sacramento and New Orleans. And you said that plays a factor in your decision. So para sa'yo, among those 3, who should be the center on the first team, or do you have another one in mind?
Well, of that 3, I would probably take Drummond. Pero may pagka-hipster yung pick ko sa center. I have Draymond Green actually.
Oh,
as the
Draymond Green.
Center, ha?
Yeah. One thing sa voting is you can put any person's name. So out of position, pwede yun. In the past, we've had Pau Gasol be a power forward and a center. So that's okay. For me, Draymond Green, what he brings to the Golden State Warriors when they go small is so unique, and the numbers he puts up are so important to the Golden State's win streak. Now, for me, I really just have to put him there at center. You mentioned Drummond, another guy I might throw out there is DeAndre Jordan. Yung ayoko lang sa kanila is when you put them in and it's crunch time, nag-hack strategy ng mga ibang coach. And I really hate that strategy. For me, aesthetically, ang pangit talaga. So I would not put them in there just for that. Na they can't hit their free throws when it's crunch time. And if you're one of the best 5 players in the NBA and you're not playing in crunch time minutes in the 4th quarter, parang mali yun. Yeah.
So, for you, Adrian, I assume you're putting in Steph Curry. We don't have to explain that.
Right.
And then Draymond Green at center. So, mukhang small ball lineup ang hinahanap mo. Sino naman yung next 3 mo and defend?
I would put Russell Westbrook as the other guard.
I agree.
Yeah.
I put him in too.
The sheer amount of double-doubles and triple-doubles for a guy at the point guard position, for me, solidifies it. The other two forwards, yan yung medyo curious for me because obviously you have to have LeBron James in there. I understand na his numbers are declining. His three-point shooting is horrible. His mid-range jumper is also broken. But just the across the board, all the numbers he puts up, and the fact that the Cleveland Cavaliers are the #1 team in the East, I'll put him there. That said, baka it might be his last time in the first team because he's starting to decline. He's 31 years old. So we'll see about that. But the other forward spot for me, it's a toss-up between Kevin Durant and Kawhi Leonard. For me, it will come down to games played. Kung mangyayari sa Spurs is that, they decide na, okay, hindi natin mahahabol yung Golden State Warriors. Let's rest everyone in preparation for the playoffs. I would put Durant over Leonard. Pero if the Spurs do what some people think is huge task na sila yung mag-e-end ng chances ng Warriors to get that 72-10 or break 72-10 because they play 3 more times and Kawhi Leonard is a key part of that, I would definitely put Kawhi in that first 5.
Ngayon, interesting because you say Kawhi Leonard. Although Kawhi Leonard, 17th in points per game at 20.8 points per game, 12th in steals per game at about 1.78. Pero in the other statistical categories, rebounding, assists, wala siya sa top 10 or not even in the top 20. What does Kawhi Leonard bring to this Spurs team na merits yung consideration mo para ilagay siya sa All-NBA first team?
I think, number one, there's a sneaky quiet stat na he's actually #2 in three-point percentage in the NBA. Number 1 is JJ Redick. Number 2 is Kawhi Leonard. We don't really think about it because isip natin is Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. He's actually number 2. So that really opens up a lot of things, especially for LaMarcus Aldridge. And then, beyond the counting stats, if you look at something like defensive win shares, Leonard obviously is in the top in that position. You're right na in terms of sheer numbers, he's not quite up there. Pero yun nga, we know the Spurs like to rest guys. And so, if he misses a significant amount of games down the stretch, then I think, yeah, you're right. Let's bump him for someone else like Kevin Durant.
All right, so recapping your first team, Adrian, we have Draymond Green, the surprising pick, center daw. Starting center, itong si Draymond. And of course, kasama niya sa Golden State, Stephen Curry, Russell Westbrook, that's 2 point guards in the backcourt, LeBron James, and Kawhi Leonard. We haven't mentioned James Harden's name.
That's right.
Any particular reason?
Just his slow start to the season for me talaga. And if you look at his stats, he actually leads the league in most misses from the field.
Because
he takes so many shots, right? But, I mean, for me, that Houston Rockets team is such a mess. And it's a bit of a disappointment. Kasi when you entering the season, kala natin, they challenged the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. Baka they can do it again. They added Ty Lawson. But then, they fired their coach. Ang daming rumors of infighting between him and Dwight Howard. And his numbers, they're better now. Pero at the start of the season, they were really bad. So I would not put him in that first 5.
So merong factor din yung attitude and character. Whether you like it or not, it becomes part of the subjective criteria of media people.
Especially for media people na when you're writing daily columns every day about these players na you're in that city and you can see na ang negative ni Harden, for example, and it just brings the whole team down. I'm sure that you will take that into consideration.
I have the same picks as you with
with the exception of Draymond.
With Draymond, and I have KD in for Kawhi Leonard because I think that KD is one of the top 5 players in the league, and when you need somebody to knock down a big shot at the end of the line, you'd rather go KD than Kawhi. Ikaw naman, partner.
Ako, more or less, except I put Anthony Davis. So it's Westbrook, Durant, James, Curry, and Anthony Davis. Just because of the fact na he's yung transcendent player who can probably take the NBA to the next generation.
Oh, and I don't have Draymond Green pala. I have Andre Drummond because I'm a believer in the classic big man presence in the paint.
So really interesting about Anthony Davis is he has to make an All-NBA team, so 1, 2, or 3, to have his contract bonus kick in. He's subject to the Rose Rule, which basically says that if you're named MVP or if you make 2 All-NBA teams within a certain span, you can earn up to 30% of the salary cap. So right now, if Davis doesn't meet the criteria, it doesn't get into an All-NBA team, he's not eligible for that bonus. So he will lose a lot of money because of that.
Wow.
Sige, so quickly, Adrian, kung hindi nga siya makaabot sa first team, quickly, off the top of your head, your second, possibly even third?
I would put Kyle Lowry Damian Lillard, two explosive guards. Paul George for a forward, then I'll maybe put in Drummond. And I actually have a soft spot for Pau Gasol right now. He's like the guy carrying the Chicago Bulls. I would have considered Jimmy Butler, but he's been injured a lot recently, so he might not make it. Third team, Chris Paul definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, he's sort of been carrying the Clippers now that Blake Griffin's gone. Maybe I'll put in Klay Thompson for his shooting.
Yes.
As for the other center, maybe then I'll put in DeAndre Jordan. The two other forwards, that's interesting. I would probably have to think more about that. But I mean, given how many people in that position are playing well right now, I mean, maybe DeMar DeRozan, LaMarcus Aldridge, or maybe, you know, let's give a fond farewell to Dirk Nowitzki. It might be his last
I
season.
like that. I like that. Well, thank you so much again.
Quick shoutout lang,
Yeah.
si Mix Busto sa kasama natin.
Yes.
James Harden.
James Harden.
First team.
Buti pala pinaalala mo, partner. What's up, Migs? Thank you very much, Adrian.
Thank you as always.
For more sports updates, keep watching The Score. And don't forget to subscribe.